Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. Good, someone's there. Kim, hello. I was Nils as well. Hello. Yeah, something weird just happened. Maurice as well. Hello. I know, I know, I've had a week off, but I've come back and everything was fine. I mean, everything appeared to be fine. Switched on my machine, switched on my VM, all working, and then I clicked the go live button and it tells me that it can't find the streaming key that it needs to connect to Twitch. I have no idea why that happened. I've also, the little go live button normally prompts me where I want to put in a tweet or the message for a tweet, but that didn't happen. So I don't know what's going on, to be honest, but it appears to be working. So I think that you can all hear me. It didn't like having a week off, indeed. So speaking of that, I wasn't here last week. Yes, last Sunday afternoon, I had my first COVID-19 vaccination injection. I had the AstraZeneca vaccine, and I felt fine on the day of it. Didn't have any after effects on the day, but the next day, the Monday, just really didn't feel right, to be honest. Had a bit of a sore arm, and just best way I can put it is that I felt fuzzy in my head. So I decided not to stream last night, and I felt better on the Tuesday. So all fine now. Just waiting on my second dose, which they said could be up to 12 weeks, but I should get a letter through when I can have my second jab. Did you see any Agent Smith? No. I'm also not sure what that means. The Agent Smith, the only Agent Smith I can think you're referring to is the Matrix, but I'm not familiar with what you're referring to, so I'm going to say no. No. But yeah, so that was me. That's why I didn't stream last week. Now, what in the interim, what we've been working on. So, the interesting question would be whether Wi-Fi got. So I have heard there's various different conspiracy theories and all sorts of stuff with regard to the injection. I have to admit, I'm not a believer in any such conspiracy theories. If I do now have a tracking device in me, what am I going to do about it? I'm never going to know. So I'm okay. As long as it gets us back to normal in terms of being able to go places and do things, I'm okay with it, to be honest. Indeed, that Agent Smith, he seems to. Oh, I see what you're saying. I didn't see him. As to whether he's going to jump out on me one day, who knows? Who knows? Stranger things have happened. But in terms of what we've been working on in the interim, as a project, Cake has shipped a 1.1.0 release, which includes a number of new features. Now, on my list of things to do soon is to do release videos for a couple of the projects that I'm involved in. So I've fallen behind a little bit. So I've got a release video to do for Cake 1.0.0 and now Cake 1.1.0. I don't know when I'm going to do those videos, I'll be honest. They're on my list. I would like to get them done. I just need to block out a bit of time to get them done. The one of the things that I have also been working on is I have, with the help of Jan, Punker76 on Twitter, I'm getting about yay close to getting a new release of Chocolatey Gooey released. So that'll be Chocolatey Gooey 0.18.0. That includes lots of things, one of which is dark mode. So yes, dark mode it's merged, it's in the develop branch. So if you want to take a look at it, feel free. Now there's at least, I think, 3 translation contributors to Chocolatey Gooey in the chat room. So there were some new English strings added to the localization resources.resx file. So if you did have an opportunity to translate those into your respective languages prior to the release, I would be very grateful. And there's so let me go back. Make one. So I thought about, with regard to the videos, Maurice, I probably will do 2 separate videos, because the way I've started doing things. So if I were to go up to here and look at cake build and then cake, then in the releases section, what I've started doing on some projects is I have started putting those are the pre-releases. Did I do one for? Maybe I haven't started doing it for cake. That's a little strange. Where have I shown them? Cake.Recipe? Maybe Cake.Recipe. Let's have a look at Cake.Recipe. What I've started doing is when I create a video, I've started putting it in the release notes section of I'm a little bit behind with cake as well. Seriously? Which ones have I started doing it on? I know I've started doing it's maybe Chocolatey Gooey, you know? I know I've unless I'm going completely bonkers, I have started putting release. There we go. Okay, so when I do a release and I do a short video to accompany the release, I have started putting them into the release notes section, right? And what we have started doing on the Cake Build website is similar. So when we do a release and there is a video associated with it, we have added it to the blog post as well. So there won't be one for these 2 releases, but I think we would have done one for Cake.Rider, and there's a release video there as well. So these are really just short videos that provide a top level overview about what's been included in the release, and then if it makes sense, a short demonstration of what it is. So for that reason, Maurice, I probably will be doing 2 separate videos, one for 1.0 and one for 1.1.0. Question there, can I do that with Chocolatey Gooey extension? Use the pre-release. So no. In tandem with the release of 0.18.0 of Chocolatey Gooey, there is a new release of Chocolatey Gooey license extension 0.2.0, and those 2 will go out at the same time. So if all goes well, they're getting shipped tomorrow. The reason that they won't work is because within the 0.18.0 release of Chocolatey Gooey, there is a new top-level construct that allows setting of configuration at both the user level, which has always been the case, and at the machine level. So you can set a configuration feature or a configuration value at the machine level so that all users on the machine get it. Now, the reason that necessitated a new version of Chocolatey Gooey license extension was because it had to adhere to that same configuration construct. So 0.2.0 of Chocolatey Gooey license extension will have a hard dependency on Chocolatey Gooey 0.18.0. So if you attempt to install the pre-release of Chocolatey Gooey with the extension, bad things are going to happen. So don't do that. I would offer to give you a pre-release version of the extension to go with it, but given that the hope is that tomorrow both of those get shipped, I don't see the point. So fingers crossed, that'll all go out tomorrow. I did some tests this morning on installing, upgrading, setting configuration, testing the dark mode, etc, etc, etc. And fingers crossed, touch wood, it is all looking good. And that's that. So chocolate gooey has been being worked on, cake stuff. I have been running into a couple of issues with Cake.Recipe. So I was going through the process of releasing some of my extensions, or my add-ins, sorry. And my add-ins, and also some of the ones that I was tagged in to get a release out. And noticed something with regard to the Dependabot PRs that have been coming in, where they're all failing the build. Had a chat with Kim about it over Slack, and I think there's some configuration changes that we need to make to the GitHub Actions build that we have, so that it doesn't attempt to do the build on what is essentially the local branch. So if we look at one of these, then the branch that's been created is local to this repository. So that's kind of different to, I'm not going to say a normal PR, but certainly from the way that I do a PR, it typically comes from a fork repository. So the result of that is just the PR build. But because Dependabot creates the branch locally in the repository, it's actually doing a build of the branch and a build of the PR. So if we were to go and look at this in here, we actually look at the workflow that's being run, then what we'll see is if we go back up to, no, that's not what I want to look at. If we go back to the actions and we look at one of the failed ones, this one, then we look in here, and then we look in here, what we'll see is, oh, that's not what I wanted to see either. Where's the thing that I wanted to see? Oh, it's on the PR itself, isn't it? That's what I'm trying to show you. So if I go here, then we look down here, then we'll see that the push event failed. The pull request got skipped because the push failed. So I think there's a little bit of work to do here in terms of making it so that the push event doesn't trigger a build, but the pull request does. And the follow-up from that is that there's at least one change to Cake.Recipe to prevent it from attempting to do a publish of the packages that it creates when it is a PR branch or PR build. So a couple of changes in Cake.Recipe we need to look at. I'm hoping I might get to look at some of this tonight. But the first thing that I wanted to look at, oh, look at that. So what Maurice is talking about there, I should have brought this up earlier actually. If we go up to look at Transifex, Transifex is a translation system that we use for chocolate gooey. So if I log in here, I don't think I'll give the game away by logging in here. I don't think there's anything secret. If I copy this and put this into here and log in here. So we use Transifex as an open source project, and we get the benefit of it. It doesn't cost us anything as a project, but what we end up doing is, as part of the build process, we maintain the English version of the resources.resx file, and then each build, this gets published into Transifex, and then it opens it up for translation into the respective languages that we have on the project. So the Dutch one that Maurice has just mentioned there has now been 100% reviewed and 100% translated. So what should happen is that when I make a change or I add a new string, all of the folks on the team will get emailed to say that there's a new string been added, and then they can come in here. For example, if we go in the German one, because Nils, Nils might decide he wants to help out, hint hint, nerd type. What you could do is then you would go into here, and then you would see how many strings need to be translated, etc., etc. And then I think if we click and translate, what you'll see is, I'm not even going to attempt this. You'll see here's the ones that there's 31 unreviewed and 21 untranslated. So some of the ones I probably just added. Then this is the English text, and the idea being that someone who knows how to speak German would put the translation into the right hand side, and then the next time we do a release build, we download all of the translated regex files from Transifex, and they get included and bundled into the final package that goes out to Chocolatey. Kim saying, and a fix when the recipe doesn't push chocolate packages when the default platform is not set to Windows. Yes, that other issue that you mentioned, yes. You don't use GitHub to log in. I didn't know I could. I mean, can I? I actually didn't notice. Oh, look at that. No, I don't. I have a dedicated account. I don't think they had the concept of GitHub authorization or authentication, sorry, when I created the Transifex account that I have. Anyone started on the pirate? No. Ich kann dir dabei nicht helfen. So you can't help with German. Bracken. Anyway, so if anyone who's in the chat room happens to be a Transifex translator, then now would be a great time to get those updated before the release, which is going to happen tomorrow. Perfectly spoken, look at me. Ich habe Deutsch in der Schule gelernt, ja? No. Anyway, right, so the one thing that I did want to get done today was I was nerd sniped into doing another release of Bakery. So a couple of days ago, when did I do it? Let's have a look. I'll be able to tell you. So here, couple of days ago, that being what day was this? 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago. I did a release of 060 of Bakery, which attempted to add in better support for finding the Cake DLL, Cake.Exe as part of running within Visual Studio Code. So released that as well as building for .NET 5, and it broke. So we then yesterday released a 061 release of Cake.Bakery, and it fixed one issue, but it highlighted another issue. So then Nils and Augusto have been busy fixing Cake.Bakery again. So just before the stream, I started the process of doing the 062 release of Bakery, and it's now at the point where everything's merged in, created a new hotfix branch, created the release notes. Now, one thing I did notice, and I don't know if this is something that Kim might have an idea on, is that I'm using your release notes workflow drafter tool, and for some reason on this repository, it always fails, and it fails right at the point where Cake.issues.recipe is being initialized. And Pascal is of the opinion that it's not an issue with Cake.recipe.issues, Cake.issues.recipe, but it's failing at the same point each and every time. If I run the build locally, works fine. If I run the other parts of the build, so the build of the develop branch or build of the master branch, it all just works. But something weird is happening when it attempts to draft the release notes, and I honestly don't know why. So that's a lingering issue that I'm aware of. But for now, I'm just going to go and click the button on 062 to publish that release. I'm going to fire that off, and that will push out a new NuGet package and chocolate package. Can't remember. Maybe it does. I honestly don't remember. Let's bake something. We should. So speaking about making stuff, how's the printer going? Maurice? Is it finished? The first big thing that it was doing. Oh, look at that. Oh, hold on. Trans effects. I'm going to have to go and log in now. Nils is going to help out. Hold on. Get my password again. Copy. It's still printing the same thing, or is it printing something else? Join requests. Is this you? Is this Nils? Oh, there it is. Join. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. So Nils has been added as a member of the German localization team. Oh wow. Non-stop for 60 hours. That's impressive. Not possible that it's an issue with drafting release notes. It's never get. Yes, no, that's what I mean. So I'm sorry, I maybe didn't make myself clear. I'm not saying it's an issue with creating the release notes. The release notes build is failing, which encompasses a bunch of things. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. Oh, so you don't leave it running overnight then. So I guess that makes sense. So that's where the important thing that you told me about, which is the ability to pause it and for it to be able to pick up where it left off. Gotcha. Okay, so anyway, so Cake.Bakery should be building and running. Hello, Augusto. How are you, sir? We've just been talking about you. I hope you don't mind. The Cake.Bakery build is building, and it should be a way to publish a new 062 release of that. I should ask while we're here, Augusto, what is your primary spoken language? And are you a member of the Transifex translation team for Chocolate Gooey? If not, would you like to be, so that you can help translate? Oh, do we have Portuguese? Hold on. I think we've got Portuguese. Oh no, we don't. Would you like to join the Transifex team to be able to translate Chocolate Gooey text into Portuguese? Because if so, you would be more than welcome. And I can send an invite, or you can join just by going to the Chocolate team on Transifex, and you could become. Oh, did I see it? Was it there? Did I miss it? I was looking for the text Portuguese, but maybe. Persian, Polish. Oh, there is a Portuguese. So the Portuguese language is currently at 92% translated. So that means there is a slight gap that needs to be filled in. So if you were available to help with that, where's the? I can't see my chat window. Can someone paste the URL into chat window? Because I don't. Oh, maybe I'll go away. Hold on. Let me just do this. Oh, that's going to be confusing. Okay, so I've just put that into chat there. So if you wanted to help out, that'd be great. And we've got quite a few different languages on the go. Some obviously never got started, but most of them are reasonably well translated. but any help that could be offered in this regard would be appreciated. This is someone's requested Russian. I've got no objections to adding Russian. Hello, Elias. How are you? Okay, no pressure, but just do it. Elias, what is your primary spoken language? Because, German, even better. Are you a member already of the Chocolatey Gooey Transifex translation team? Because you could help with the German translation of Chocolatey Gooey or from the English that I come up with into German. So if you're not currently someone who is currently helping with the German translation, then you are more than welcome to join, sir. There's a link in the chat that you could click on to join the team. Love this. Anybody else speak any other languages then want to help with the Chocolatey Gooey translation? Gusto's creating an account, cracking. We already have Russian, do we? Was it a different? That's a good point. So should I get rid of this one then and just leave the top level Russian? Yeah, I think that we probably should do that. So how do we get rid of? How do we get rid of it? Is it this one? No. Languages. How would we remove? Invite collaborators, view members. No, I want to. Oh, it's in here. Delete translations. Yeah, I think so. This one. Are you sure you want to permanently delete the translations for Russia? Yes. There we go. Oh, no, it didn't do it. There's one. Oh. Edit languages on top. Where do you see that? Okay. Oh, I see. Edit language. Okay. Good shout, Maurice. Well done. So this one. Because we've already got the Russian one. So let's remove that one. There we go. Removing a language from the project will also delete translations. Back in. Apply. Okay, beautiful. Since we only use the 2-letter ones, yes, it can be removed. Every non-2-letter translations gets converted into config. Okay, fine. A new study found that most Python programmers have vitamin C deficiency. Not sure what to do with that, but I appreciate you providing that information. Anyway, so that was Transifex. So I've just added a couple of more. There was 2 join requests. I need to go and click on those. Join. So Mills. 2 join requests. One from Elias, beautiful, and one from Augusto for Portuguese. Look at that. Thank you very much. Oh, could not complete the action. What does that mean? Please try again. Doesn't like adding Augusto. Do it again. Oh, hold on. Someone. Oh, okay. So Kim already beat me to it. Okay, so while we've been in there, hopefully we're at the point now that the Bakery release will be going out the door. But yes, if you haven't already played with the dark mode that's going to be released in Chocolatey Gooey, I thoroughly recommend that you go and check it out. It's just amazing. Jan's done some amazing work, and I'm looking forward to be. Oh, hold on. I'm looking forward to folks getting a hold of it and being able to play with it. So I think what I'm going to paste in here are some of the. These are some of the 3D builds that, or 3D prints rather, is that the term? 3D prints that Maurice has been doing with his new toy. Let's bring them up here. That. And then this one. Print. So 3D prints then. Okay. Let's go with that. Ooh. That. Like I say, I'm thoroughly jealous. I really am. I really am. I wish that I A, had more time, and B, thought that I would actually use it. Because I think there's some things I would want to do with it, but I just can't justify it at the minute. I really can't. So I shall wait and see how you get on with it, and then see where we go after that. Anyway, okay, so that's now shipped, hopefully. So the release has been updated with Shaz and all of the artifacts. Happy days. The milestone has been closed off. Beautiful. And the issue has been updated to have the text in it. There we go. So now if we go over to NuGet, it's probably not there yet. But if we look at Cake.Bakery, then over here at some point, it is there. It's just not been indexed yet. So the new 062 release of Cake.Bakery is now available on NuGet. And 3, be creative enough to use it. That's definitely something that would be needed, yes. I can now because the dark mode was ready. Not sure what that was in response to, Jan. But one thing I did notice that I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if you've noticed this, Jan, but we go up here. I noticed this just today. Come on. Chocolate. I'll get there. Chocolate gooey. It's getting close to the first million downloads. So I think the release of 0.18.0 will push it over the old million mark there, which I think is quite impressive. I'll be honest. So this is the thing that I thought was quite interesting as well, Augusto, is that you buy the 3D printer, and then you can then print different components for it. So if you wanted to, you can change all of the brackets and things to be different colors because you can print the components with the printer that you've just purchased. And one of the things that Maurice was showing there was a spooling tub for all of the filament. So you can enhance the 3D printer by printing the components for the 3D printer. It's quite impressive. It's very meta. Is it okay for me to share the thing that you said? Sure, I have no objections, Maurice. No objections from me. So feel free. Right, so what was I going to do? So we've done the bakery thing that I was nerd sniped into by Augusto. So it's done. The other thing that I wanted to look at was that there was a PR into Git Release Manager that I wanted to take a look at. So I might go and do that. Is where the exception happened, or rather, basically it can't load. So going back to the comment that you made, Kim, that's what I'm really confused about though. So if we go over here to look at Cake.Bakery, then if we look at the build workflow, I was going to say that this build is running on all of the, but that doesn't, so no, that doesn't make any sense. If it was a problem with the platform, oh, don't tell me. So if it was a problem with the operating system that it's running on, then why does the release notes work here, which is running on Ubuntu latest, when this build runs on all of them? So yes, Bakery is only running on Windows latest, whereas the release notes workflow is trying to run on Ubuntu latest, but the exact same release workflow runs on another repository that has everything in it. So I'm confused as to why it would work on one but not the other. Let me bring up the link that Maurice has pasted in. So yeah, if you haven't seen this, it's pretty cool, right? So what is it? Skyline, GitHub. So you can go to skyline.github.com. You can sign in with your account. So in my case, it's Get13. And then you can specify what year you want it to create a 3D print from. So in my case, 2017. So it allows you to view it in the browser, and you can see essentially a skyscraper version of your GitHub contributions for the year. So what I've asked Maurice to do is I've asked Maurice to print it for me with this new shiny 3D printer, and we've opted to go for 3 colors. So the base is black, the writing is in white, and then the stacks of the GitHub contributions are in green. I think it looks amazing. But the reason that I want this particular year is because this is the year of the infamous Gary's Gap. So for whatever reason, in 2017, oh, you can't see it because of CSS. But over here in March, there is a gap in my contributions for the year. So the 3D print will illustrate that by having nothing in the vertical for that particular one. So Maurice has graciously agreed to print that for me and send it over. So I think it's pretty cool, if I'm honest. So that's that. So I have it now in sticker format, and I'll have it in a 3D printed format as well. So anyway, that's that. And Kim's saying it's going to be 8 days, in 8 days, and it is a year since we've done a release of Git Release Manager. Has it really been that long? Oh my goodness, so it is. So we need to fix we need to fix that as well. So part of what I wanted to do tonight is to discuss what we're going to work on going forward on the stream. So the draft release notes is running on Ubuntu, which was changed to Ubuntu 20. The libgit version used by Cake. Oh. So if I've understood you correctly, then when I did the releases, do you know what date that was? Well, but no, that doesn't. No, that doesn't. No, that does make sense. Okay, I was going to say that doesn't make sense, but it does. So, 10 days ago, when I did the release of Cake.JSON, you're saying since then, the Ubuntu base image has gone to 20 rather than 18. That would explain it. Okay, fine. I think you did mention something about that, Nils. Yes, I accept PRs into repositories. Copy link address. What's Marie's got this time? Oh yes. So top down. There's the gap. So that day in March, on the 3D print, we'll have that. It'll have nothing there. So it's clearly indicating that Gary's gap is present, and I just think it's funny. So yeah, thank you very much to Maurice for printing that out for me. He's using me as a guinea pig, I think it's fair to say, to test out mixing the colours and seeing how all that works. But yeah, I think it's a great little thing that they've done on the skyline.github.com. So if you haven't checked it out already, make sure that you do. I'm going to close this out and we'll get back to where we were going next. So a couple of comments there. No idea when it was updated, but I believe it worked initially on 20, but another thing may have updated after Ubuntu distro. I see what you're saying. Can't say for sure as I haven't seen it before, other than on my own OS, which it happens every time. Okay. I do remember seeing something along that lines. So, okay, let me take a note to pin to earlier Ubuntu image and test release notes generation. So what we need then is we need another release of Cake.Bakery. So if you find any more bugs, Augusto stroke Nils, I can do the release of that to verify this as well. For those who want to know how to make multicolor prints, my printer is compatible with this. Bring this over. Multi-material upgrade is a brand new and improved version of the multi-material upgrade, our unique multi-material add-on, which enables your 3D printer to print with up to 5 colors at the same time, with an easier calibration process, a new filament sensor, and a standalone filament buffer. Look at that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's not painted afterwards. No, it is printed in different filament colors. Right. Anyway, so one thing that I did want to bring up on the stream was, what are we working on next? So I had a couple of ideas. So one was Git Release Manager, going back and figuring out what needs to be done on Git Release Manager, because there's still some work to be done there. There's one that's at the back of my hand, which is Magic Chunks, and getting a release out of Magic Chunks, because myself and Pascal have had a couple of conversations backwards and forwards with Sergey, and we have all the access that we need now in order to push out a new version of Cake.Magic Chunks. And I want to get that out so that we can get it updated to 1.0.0 as well. There's some work to be done on Cake.Recipe. There's some overall work that needs to be done on updating add-ins. There is some work on the Cake extension for VS Code, because there's some work in deciding how we're going to publish Cake.Bakery, or how we're going to bundle or include Cake.Bakery as part of the VS Code extension. I would still like to get back to the chocolatey VS Code extension. That's something I would like to get back to at some point. And then there's also some work that needs to be done on chocolatey GUI. I've had some ideas about functionality that I want to include within chocolatey GUI. So I might spend some time on that on the stream. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 potential things that we could work on stream. So if there are any other suggestions, feel free to shout and we can add that onto the list. But those are the top level things. So one of the things I did want to do tonight was to look at the PR that came in to Cake.Recipe. So this one, I'm going to merge it. I've come to the conclusion that I am going to merge it. But it also goes against the grain of what I've normally always done. So for every project that I've ever enabled Style Cop on, I've always left in the default Style Cop copyright header, because, well, why wouldn't you? Because Style Cop by default says that you need to have it, so I've always put it in. Now, the issue that's referenced as part of this PR was to bring the Git release manager codebase and the Git version codebase more into line. Now, one of the things that was suggested by, now was it was Arthur or Artur. So Artur had done basically a comparison between the Git version codebase and the Git release manager codebase, and one of the things that was glaringly different was that Git version didn't have the copyright header. So he suggested removing the copyright header, and that is what is that an I don't know how to say his name. He's also from Germany. Gochan? Is that close? Is that close, Nils? Was that close? Was that even remotely close? This guy has Gukhan, so it's an oo rather than o. Gukhan. Let's go with that. Gukhan has put in a PR to fix this. So I'm tempted to just say, hesitant to say no. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, Nils. Just tell me. Just tell me straight. So I'm tempted just to merge this in, but I did want to see, because I don't think he removed any style cop rules. So I'm curious to know why style cop doesn't complain if he didn't remove or override the rule as well as part of the configuration. So yeah, he hasn't done that. So I'm hold on. When targeting MIT license, the relevant portion of the license should be part of the license header. So these are ensured to be covered by the license. Hold on, I'm not sure I follow what you're saying there, Kim. Hold on. The above copyright notice and its permission notice shall be included in all copies or substantial portions of the software. So what you're saying is, when targeting MIT license, the relevant portion of the license should be part of the license header. So these are ensured to be covered by the license, even when only a single file is shared. So are you saying... of the file. Think about a good word to compare the sound with. Think about a good word. So it is an O. I'm confused now. Hesitant to say no. Okay, sorry, Kim. I'm going to concentrate. So are you saying that we should include so we should include it in here? So you're saying I should reject this PR? Or should I include this PR and reference the MIT license? Or, let me read that again. To be honest, when targeting MIT license, the relevant portion of the license should be part of the file header. So these are ensured to be covered by the license even when only a single file is shared. So if I've read that correctly again, you're suggesting that we would leave the copyright header in play and leave it as is. Something similar to, so hold on, let me... Interesting. The question is, what is a substantial portion of the software? That is true. That is something that can be debated. Oh, now I'm lost as to what to do. I was all prepared to merge this PR, but now you're sowing the seeds of doubt. Okay, so now I'm confused by what Nils is saying. And so Nils said, the question is, what is a substantial portion of the software? And if so, I'd argue that the header, as is not sufficient. So, okay, so let me make sure that we're talking about the same thing. So I'm going to go into Git Tools. I'm going to go into Git Release Manager. I'm going to bring this up in code. So let's go into source and go into here and go into program.cs. So currently, this is the copyright header that we have in play. So what we're suggesting is that we would want to take what I've got on my clipboard and put this into here. Obviously, changing this to be Git Tools and Contributors. Does one file. Gotcha. Okay. But if you're going to add it to one file, I would argue that you should probably add it to all of them, if for no other reason than for consistency. So, first of all, am I correct in what you're suggesting here, Kim? So you're suggesting that we should be replacing the current copyright header and instead putting this one in play. Oh, here's Pascal. From a legal perspective, copyright is valid, nevertheless, if it is written somewhere or not, as long as you don't explicitly give it away. That's fair, yes. The currently shown header to all files or to none of them. Okay, so we've got one vote from Nils, which is to put this onto all files or none of them. I like that, because what Pascal's saying is correct, is that we've declared that it's an MIT license at the root of the repository, so that applies to everything. Could also do similar to how Roslyn team is doing it. Or how's the Roslyn team doing it? Augusto's agreeing that all or nothing makes sense. Okay. So the Roslyn team have got a smaller version. So, and I think this is similar to what we've done in the Cake project as well. So we've got a stripped down version of this. Okay, so Maurice is agreeing with the all or nothing. So then, are we? I am more for all though. See, I kind of am as well. But if we're going to do it on all of them, so there's a couple of things in there, right? So one of the things I liked about Style Cop, although I don't think it was running properly, was that if you forgot to put the copyright header in play, then it would remind you about it, right? Now, the issue that our German friend, I was going to try and pronounce his name again, but I'm not. One of the issues that our German friend brought up was that from a maintenance point of view, the current copyright header is annoying because the copyright header requires that the file name be included. So it's not just a case of copying and pasting the copyright header from another file. You have to then remember to go and update the file name. So having something like this makes more sense because it doesn't have the file name in it, so that's not a problem. So I think maybe for starter, removing the current copyright header from everything, but then potentially adding it back in the new format, but then I would like something like Style Cop to ensure that it is included on all files. Anyway, let's catch up in the chat. One thing I do, which seems to work well, is to put the copyright header in a region so that Visual Studio collapses it nicely. Okay, regions for the win. So let's have a look at interesting. Okay, good to know. So Augusto is doing. Let's see what Augusto's up to. Gotcha. So copyright, blah, blah, like it. Okay. And then Kim's also saying that there is stylecop.json that you can apply that ensures that that text in its entirety is included. Okay, good to know. So we can do that. Okay, fine. Makes the full text correct without having it in a copyright section. StyleCop still does this. Okay, so So let's do this then. So I am going to say that we will accept the PR. And I may create a follow-up issue that adds it back in again, but without the copyright header as it currently is with the file name. So let's try that. So GHPR checkout 357. Git rebase on develop. I think it's already there. That's how we look. Successfully rebased. It did anything. I need to fix that at some point. Use it. Why has that got? That's one target independent. Git checkout develop. Git base develop. Git remote minus v. What am I doing wrong? Git did. I didn't. I did and I didn't. I was convinced I did. Obviously I didn't. Git rebase upstream develop. Better. Right, fine. Git push origin. I hadn't seen that, Maurice, no. So Chocolate GUI currently has 200, exactly 200 forks. Stuff. Git checkout. What was the name of it? The feature. 356. Git rebase on develop. Happy days. And if we go back to here, then it should look a little bit better. Lots of upstream forks. Develop. Beautiful. Right. So I'm going to say then, so if we're in agreement, I'm going to say that removing the current copyright header makes sense for the reasons that were stipulated in the issue, that from a maintenance point of view, it makes it hard to maintain it. Please check out point. There's no associated issue, which is why I created one. And if we look at that one again, then what was suggested was that classes in the Git version project don't contain any file header. A class rename doesn't change the file name in the header, which causes a warning and increases the maintenance effort. Absolutely, I totally agree with that. So for that reason, I'm going to say that this looks good, and I'm going to merge it. So let's do this, and I'm going to say it looks good to me. Approve, and we'll say, what was it? Thank you very much for taking the time to update this. I agree that the current copyright header makes refactoring the code difficult. At some point, I may or we may add back in an alternative copyright header, but for now removing what is currently in place makes a lot of sense. Did I hear a Slack message coming in? Yes, that was. You're likely going to hear another one. Yeah, I might switch off Slack. Hi, Slack. That was the Slack notifications from the Git Tools organization coming through on Slack there. You see, you're too slow. Saw it on my phone. Anyway, so let's go to here and let's take the investigating off. Wasn't really a feature either. Let's just say that this was a documentation task, and we'll assign it to the 0.12.0 milestone. Okay, so I'm going to then tick this box to say that we've done it. Oh, there was a whole discussion on this issue around whether the using should be inside or outside the namespace. I seem to remember that causing a discussion. Not really sure if I'm in the mood for looking at that at the minute. But in terms of what's on the 0.12.0, what were we planning on this one? There's 14 open, and we should get a release out soon if there's 52 closed issues. What have we done on the 0.12.0? Or are a lot of them just dependencies? Should get a release out soon, eh? What is there still on the... Send the export, oh, there's that. Document the public API core. Update NuGet API key. Oh, I want to get this one done at some point. GitHub Actions build. Okay. We should maybe spend some time on Git Release Manager. Sorry, this is 14 hours, 12 minutes print now for 98% finished. Oh, look at that. Well done. Yeah, let's not go down that. I think I agree with Kim here. The stop. So okay, so of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, of the 7 things that are on there, I think Git Release Manager is coming up as a we need to get this done at some point, because there's a bunch of pull requests in here that need to be updated as well. See, anyway, I want to have a quick look. I don't want to get dragged into the Git Release Manager stuff at the minute. What I do want to do is I want to have a quick look at the workflow YAML for GitHub Actions, which will prevent the Dependabot branches running a build. So currently in my build.yaml file, we say push on everything. So GitHub workflow YAML branches. I want to limit it to only develop, master, hotfix, and releases. So in here, I'm going to assume that I can do branches, main, etc. Now, I also feel that we did this recently because I've been at this page recently. So which project or repository did we update where we included this? We did one recently, didn't we? Can anyone remember? Because it would be good to standardize on a set. Push releases, push events on releases with that in it. If you add branches, remember to also add, otherwise tag builds won't run from what I have seen. Octoprint. So Maurice did something. Let's have a look, see what Maurice has done. I seem to remember us looking at this page. I don't. Have you now got? Do you now? What's Octoprint Slack? Send messages to your group Slack chat when printing events happen. Nice. Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. But anyway, so if I come in here and in here, if I say branches, what? Hold on, what's Kim got here then? Copy what? Yeah, I was going to follow the other syntax to make it slight. I guess it doesn't make any difference, does it? I was going to more do this. So then release slash star star. And then hotfix star star. And then what you're telling me is that I would then need tags. Now you've got quotes around there. Let's do this too. I was going back to do that. So that would limit, so it is still a master branch that I've got here, right? I haven't renamed that to be main. I haven't, okay. So this in theory should restrict pushes to branches to only within these ones. So the pushes to the dependabot, yes, we should do that if we're going to do a feature star star. I agree with that. So the pushes to the dependabot branches should no longer result in a build. However, the pull requests to those associated branches should still work, correct? Or do I need to put branches into the pull request as well? Or should they flow through? I guess we can test it. How do I... Oh, start commit up here. I was looking for it down at the bottom. Build. Restrict pushes to only the primary branches. Restrict push. This will prevent the dependabot branches from running. Pull request will go through as a separate event, so it got no restrictions that you have to. Okay, fine. So let's give it a try. So if I do this, so this should trigger a build for the develop branch. Now there's 2 in there because one will be CodeQL. There it is. One is CodeQL and one is the build. So that one I'm okay with, he says. Oh, hold on. Assuming you remove the if statement. So what was this? So it said if GitHub event equals push or pull request full name is not equal to GitHub repository. So what is that if statement doing? That if statement is saying if the GitHub event name equals push, then we build. Or github.event.pullRequest.head.repo.fullname is not equal to GitHub repository. That if statement won't run pull requests open from the same repository as the one it was supposed to merge into. And that's exactly what we want to happen, because the dependabot pull requests won't run. So does that explain why? Oh, interesting. Okay, so let me ask this then. So originally, I had thought that this skipped it because it failed the build, the push event. But what you're suggesting there is that it was skipped because of that if statement. Have I got that right? It was skipped because interesting. Okay, fine. In which case, I want to take that if statement out in its entirety. Yes, just remove it completely. Okay, so let's do another one here. So build, remove if statement. This was excluding PR builds when the PR came from the same repository. We want to include these builds so that dependabot PRs are built. Okay, I'm going to commit that in again. That will trigger another 2 builds. Yes. Okay, fine. But in the, I'm going to cancel that one. I don't need that one just now. Did that cancel? Saves just a little bit of time. Can it cancel? Okay, fine. So cancel this one too. Let's save a few build minutes. And then let's just finish. Maurice is saying that his 3D print is completed. Nice. There should be noted that if a PR gets submitted from a feature, release, or hotfix branch, now it will run on both the pull request and on the branch itself. But what did we gain now? But I mean, the way that I tend to do things is that I would tend to work from a fork. So if I am doing a PR, that PR will come from a fork. So I'm okay with that being the case. But what I do want to do is I do want to make the Dependabot builds not cause multiple builds that it doesn't need to. I just want the PR build. So assuming that I stick to that methodology where I do my PRs from a fork, then the PR will build, but the push won't. Fine, good. And then the Dependabot PRs won't cause multiple builds that cause problems. So this all surfaced because each of the Dependabot builds caused a push event. That push event then attempted to push multiple packages to the pre-release NuGet feed that weren't required. So there's a couple of issues in there. One is that the push shouldn't have caused a build in the first place. And the second is that we need to gate the pushing of the packages to only happen on a PR. So that's a change to Cake.Recipe. So Kim's saying basically you gain some more restrictions on the builds as well as only running the pull request event on Dependabot builds. Yes, I'd say nothing changed now. Only we build on the other trigger. I think we're maybe saying the same thing, but essentially, so once this builds, my aim is to go back into here, and I want to tell Dependabot to go back in and rebase this on the head of develop. And what should happen is that the PR build will run, but none of these other things, that all of these push builds shouldn't run. It should only run the pull request builds. And that's what I want to happen. So once these actions complete, I'm going to rebase one of those PRs. Correct. Yes. So, like I say, one of the symptoms of this was that PR builds were pushing things upstream when they shouldn't. Now that's a fix that needs to go into Cake.Recipe, but even if we put that fix in, the push event would have still attempted to push those packages when we don't want it to. So I think this puts us in a better place. How long do these builds take? Oh, look at all these run Dependabots for Cake. Look at that. 8 minutes. So we already have that detected. So Cake.Recipe already knows how to detect it as a PR build happening in GitHub Actions. But currently what happens, so if we were to go over here And this we think, based on the conversation that I had with Kim, we think that this was a regression. But if we go into Cake.Recipe, content, and then GitHub Actions, this guy. So we already know, or we can already figure out whether this is a pull request. So we already know that part, and we know that on a per build provider basis, which is good. But what we need to do is we need to go into packages. So down here, when we do a publish pre-release here, there's currently no criteria on here that says don't do this if we're running a PR, and we need to fix that. So that's a fix that needs to go into Cake.Recipe, which will then flow back down into the Cake.json as an example. Okay, so we remove the if statement. Happy days. Right. So now if we go into here and we tell Dependabot here to rebase this PR. What's going to happen now? Let's find out. There is only a criteria that the environment variables are available, which they will be on local pull requests. They didn't on app version. Yeah, exactly. So now, here we go. Now we've got the pull request builds, not the push events. I think we're in a much better place now. Now this will still fail because of the upstream problem with Cake.Recipe. We need to fix that, he says. I don't think 16 pull requests in here. There's a few things we need to fix in here as well. Oh, there's all the Cake. There's all the Cake 1.0 stuff. I was wondering why is this such a big number, but I understand now why it's such a big number. Because there's the ongoing work to upgrade Cake.Recipe to see that's the other. So Cake.Recipe is support 1.0.0. Will only fail if the same version exists on Azure and GitHub. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But then your skip duplicate fix would prevent that from causing a failure going forward. But while I agree that having the skip duplicate check in there makes sense, I also don't want it to attempt it in the first place. But yes, fair play. So if we go over to issues then, and we look at milestones, what have we got in the 221? Yes, okay, so these are the two bugs that we need to fix. I am really waiting on the... So where did that go into? Because that's been merged, right? Did that go into here? Okay, so that went into the 3.0 release. Yes, okay. So out of interest then, what do you need that for? So would that configuration change that I just made not help with the prevention of the need for the skip duplicates check? Or what am I missing? Where do you need that skip duplicate functionality? So the Ubuntu one's finished already. So it obviously is not the preferred operating system, so it wouldn't have attempted doing a push. Same will be true of the Mac build. So it would have skipped all of these things, which is fine. Did all the other stuff. Oh, Windows passed. Interesting. Let's see where it got to. What did it attempt? So it did do the publish pre-release. So it attempted, or it didn't attempt it. Oh, excuse me. Publish pre-release packages. Unable to publish. Oh. No. Hold on. So this is the other issue. But it should have created. It should have created NuGet packages. What am I missing? Thank you, Maurice. Here. There shouldn't be any chocolatey packages for the Cake.JSON project. So why unable to publish chocolatey packages? Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. I sometimes have work branches that I use when working on a feature. These can sometimes be based on and cause an issue. Okay, fair. I'm confused as to what's going on there. I think this is the important thing though, is that the number of configured pre-release NuGet sources is 0. So that tells me that the environment variables for this pull request haven't been hydrated. No, that doesn't make sense. No, that's good though. So the number of configured pre-release NuGet sources is 0. But why? I think there's more to it. There's more to this than meets the eye. So we go back into here and here and look at packages again. We have a wee look in here. Unable. What did it say? It said unable to publish chocolate packages. Chocolate packages directory exists. Chocolate package directory exists. So this was an if statement that said if operating system, build operating system is Windows and the directory exists for chocolate packages, if it's there, do that. So else unable to publish chocolate packet is running on Windows and then directory exists chocolate packages. Right. Why does that say Windows there? Oh, look at that. That's a bug. Same meshes will show up if either not running on Windows or the. Yeah. So I think I've just seen the same thing. Or 190? 190. So part of the issue is that my format here is doing 0 and 0. So that's just flat out wrong. So the directory doesn't exist. So there are no chocolatey packages. So it's telling us the right thing, I think. But it all comes down to the fact that we shouldn't be in here in the first place. We shouldn't be pushing chocolatey packages on a PR build. So that's the root cause of this. We shouldn't be in here publishing at all. So we need to fix that. But there's a bug there that has got a 0 in it, 2 zeros in it, but it shouldn't. So I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix that just now. So cd into Cake content Cake.Recipe. A lot of stuff going on Twitter just now. I think Augusto is doing some stuff. It's definitely not an undocumented feature. Definitely. In this case, definitely not. Normally I would try and take that, but no, it's not. It's just wrong. Git push. So what are you building now then? If that 3D print is finished then, Maurice, what are you away to build now? Print now? So another one of the same thing. We publish chocolatey package. This is the one we want. Where? That one, and this one. Number of configured chocolate sources, 0 and 1. Setting API key. We'll do a quick sanity check across some of these log statements. 0, 9, 0 and 1, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1. Necessary credentials haven't been provided. Unable to publish chocolate packages. Is running on Windows 0. Chocolate package directory 1. Not really sure what benefit. Oh, hold on. You are quick. Hold on. Outputted message is wrong when on Windows. Due to a formatting mistake if the platform is not Windows or there's no pack. Right, okay, so this is 2, 2, 1. Have we got a hotfix branch already? Git branch. Git branch minus a. What we do? Git checkout hotfix 2.2.1. Git dash git stash apply switch. One day. So the other fundamental change that I am making a fundamental change in how I do things. So previously, I would have said the commit message going into here would have been GH-805. But I'm turning that on its head. We're not doing GH-805 anymore. We're going to save 2 characters in the commit message. And we're going to make that a pound sign if I can find it on my keyboard. I can't find it on my keyboard. Where is it? Got no idea what keyboard I'm using. Oh, it's got to be somewhere. It's got to be one in here somewhere. Oh, it's there. Found it. Above above the 3 is a pound sign. The other pound sign. The Great British pound sign. But I found it. It's okay. Changing it due to GitLab. Yes, that's part of it. Part of it. So part of the process that we've been through with moving some of the chocolate repositories around, we've actually inadvertently lost some of our history, because we've taken a GitHub repository and imported it into GitLab, which does a really good job of doing that. But because we used a nomenclature that was GH dash, then all of the linking of the commits to the issues is essentially broken now. So from a consistency point of view, we're using hash sign for all of our commit messages now, which work on both. Yes, it is. So I know that one because other reasons. So when I'm on my Mac, not going into a VM like this, I need to do that. So yeah, I was aware that it was above 3. Fix string formatting syntax. Let's do that. Yes. Okay. Git push upstream. Push that up there. So that will fix, he says. There we go. So we can go ahead and close that one. Oh, hold on. What's that? Oh, I missed that one. Hold on. What's that one do? Did this one over the weekend. Copy, copy, copy. Pasty, pasty, paste. Articulating Raspberry Pi. Oh, is that for doing your stop motion stuff? Question from Augusto. What's different when using only the pound sign? Wouldn't GitLab think the issue number belongs to GitLab? So the issue was that in our GitHub repository that we took from GitHub and put into GitLab, we were using GH dash for all of our commit messages. So GitLab doesn't understand that nomenclature. But if we use the hash symbol in both our GitHub and our GitLab, then it will work. Correct. What Kim said. Forgot to print one bolt though. Oh dear. I'm assuming you can go back and print the bolt and it'll still work. I love that you could do this. You see, stop showing me these things, buddies. Stop it. Stop it. Right, how much time have we got left? We've got 14 minutes left. Okay, so what else can we do? A quick get chocolate packages not pushed in some scenarios. So what was this one saying? So if we close off some of, let's maybe see if we can fix some of these. In some cases, when a user has set the preferred build platform to something other than Windows, then chocolate packages would never get pushed. They might also never get created though. This seems to happen because we restrict the tasks related to pushing packages to only do the work on the preferred platform. While the chocolate package is only created on a Windows platform, the method for pushing the packages also never gets called on Windows in these cases. My suggestion is to remove the criteria of only running the publishing task on a certain build platform and rather add checks inside the tasks to see if the correct platform is being used instead before calling chocolate or NuGet publishing methods. So let's have a look at this one then. Oh, you did. Yes, you did. Okay. Current logic of pushing chocolate packages uses the current preferred build platform to decide when to push the package. Unfortunately, at a later point, this is further restricted to only push those packages on Windows platforms. This eventually causes an issue where the packages are never pushed if the preferred build platform OS is set to something other than Windows. This pull request fixes this. Not sure what's going on with GitHub Actions build. The failure seems to be Git version related. Right, let's have a wee sneaky peek at this one. So we're removing that criteria, and then in here we're saying, I see, gotcha, I see what we're saying. Okay, if we're running on Windows, then we push. If, gotcha, then we do that one. Same again in here, there. This again. If it's there, then chocolate. So it's chocolate sources come from there and put it into here, and then the NuGet sources comes down into here. Gotcha. And then if directory exists, chocolate packages, we'll remove that from there. Fine. I think I'm okay with that. So if we come down to here and do GHPR list here, GHPR checkout 802, get on hotfix there, get push dash F. Have a look at that. I was just thinking the same. So let me read where that was again. Push chocolate packages. So we've removed that if statement. Oh, I see what you're saying. So in this if statement, we've now just got that one. So really we don't need this anymore, do we? Agreed? Because that's no longer a criteria. I mean, arguably, it's not actually needed. It's more just to know where it got to than anything. We would take this out too. Oh, there. Right. Not sure if we should have any output, but the package isn't pushed because it is not running on Windows though. Oh, from higher up you mean? Yeah, I think so. Not sure if... Right, and then I've taken that part out. So I think I'm okay with that. Like I said, this is more just a sanity check than anything. It's just to know where it got to within this if statement. It doesn't really serve much benefit. So I'm okay with that. Let's do this. And let's do get rebase -I on hotfix. Okay. Do 7 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna YOLO it. Pull request builds, PR builds, beautiful. So, oh, have we enabled those settings? Oh, we have. But then if we go to branches, and what have we got in here? Did that. We did all of those. Okay, fine. A thought just popped into my head, unrelated to the current work. In Cake scripts, are localization resources possible? Thinking of perhaps localizing. I see what you're saying. If we were to add a branch protection rule to include hotfixes, would it then be available? I think it would, right? Because at the minute we've just got develop and master. In Cake scripts, are localization resources possible to do? Short answer is I don't know. I think you can do wildcards, right? I think. Or what I was thinking was because you could do, can't you? Match hotfix slash, I think, because it's a pattern. I think you can do star there. I think you can. I'm not going to try it now, but I think you can. But anyway, I was going to go in here, and I was going to go here, and I was going to go. I think this will take us to the end of tonight's stream, I think. And we'll say Fire Worm, PRT. Beautiful. So then the thing that's left should have 801 associated with it. I don't know why it didn't. 801. And then into here and say that's on there, that's on there. We can do that. So what's left on the 221 is this text is no longer right. It's not that the pull requests are not identified correctly. It's that the publishing is done when it shouldn't be. So we can fix that up. That will allow us to get a 221 release of Cake.Recipe out the door. Then we can start looking at 1.0.0 support for Cake.Recipe. So how do we feel about next week? Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. I can. I'll leave it on my list if that's okay. Next week on the stream, let's try. Let's spend a bit of time getting, if we haven't already, through the week, getting a 2.2.1 release of Cake.Recipe out the door, and spend a bit of time working towards getting 1.0, 1.0.0 support in Cake.Recipe for Cake. Now that might be contingent on having a Cake.Issues.Recipe that supports 1.0.0 available, but we could do the lion's share, hopefully, of the work to upgrade to that. Get that done. So I'm going to say that that's going to be the first one. Then I'm going to say that we'll do a Magic Chunks release so that we can get that out the door. Third, we'll be looking at Git Release Manager. And then after that, it would be Cake VS Code, Chocolate VS Code, and Chocolate GUI. So the quick question there is 793 issues. 793. Missing VCS root branch and Team City build needs a better error message. Having maybe. No, I'm okay with that. So we could pull that in here then. So if we were to do, I'm happy to label that as a bug and then put that in here too. Yeah, we could do that. Or not having exposed the VCS to fail. We need to expose the variable to the build documented. The error when one forgets to do that is this. Improving the documentation on around that. I'd be happy to have that. Well, it's not a bug. It's we don't really have a label for it. It's more we come up against this in chocolate sometimes. It's more if you can lead people into the pit of success by having a better error message, then you're improving the bug by having self-documentation that helps them address the issue. So it's not technically a bug, but I'm happy for it to go into the bug fix release, which is 2.2.1. A message bug, yes, exactly. It's an improvement of the error handling or the error reporting so that it's clear what needs to happen. Okay, so quick recap. Thanks to everyone who helped out on the stream tonight. Really appreciate it, as always. Tonight we shipped a version of Cake.Bakery based on Nils and Augusto getting a bug fix addressed. So we did that. We looked at all of Maurice's 3D printing that he's doing because it's totally cool. We spent a bit of time discussing what potentially is going to be happening in the upcoming streams, and I've got like a list of things that we'll be looking at. We discussed and reviewed and merged a PR into Git Release Manager for changing the style cop header, or the copyright header rather, and then we started looking at some bug fixes into Cake.Recipe. So successful night, I think. And going forward, like I say, I think order of priority will be Cake.Recipe, Magic Chunks, and then Git Release Manager. So that's where I'm going to be focusing my attention. The one thing that I do want to think about, so before you disappear, Jan, don't disappear yet. The one thing that I am going to be prioritizing when I get to Chocolatey GUI is, let me find it, issues. I want to come back and finish off this work, which is the ability to pass in package parameters, installation arguments, etc. into chocolatey GUI. So we haven't got a PR yet because it's just a branch that I have, but I want to go back around to look at adding this into chocolatey GUI. So once 0.18.0 is out the door, I want to come back around and get this I want to get this a PR up that includes this work. Now that may include some theming work to support the dark mode. So I'm going to get a PR up, Jan, once 0.18.0 ships, and I would like to get back to something in here to get this at least to a point where we've got a beta of it. So I'll shoot you a message, Jan, if you don't mind, once I've got a PR up for that, and you can work your magic on the dark mode side of things, and we can have a discussion about what needs to happen to start this work getting working. I'm fine with you doing it. Yeah, Nils is saying he's working on Cake Contrib guideline stuff. Okay, but that's it for me. Hope you all stay safe. I hope your COVID vaccinations are getting closer by the day. If you've not had some already. Did you have a cheat sheet somewhere of dropping commits only available on a different branch? Yes, I do. GitHub.com chocolate. What you're looking for is rebase onto. So if you look at the contributing guide for chocolatey, is it this one? Yes, in here. So if you have a look in there, then it's in there. So you should be able to retarget it. The important bit is the where is it? Can't see if we're looking. Where's the onto? Dash. No, is it? Or no, it's maybe the committers one. Sorry, that you're looking for. Not the contributing. It's the committers. So in here, yes. Merge retargeting to stable. Let me correct that. The one you're looking for is that one, Kim. So it's rebase onto stable master. So you want to interchange those with, in this case, develop and hotfix, I think. Anyways, that's me for the night. Hope you all stay safe, and I will hopefully see you all next week. All right, take care. Bye bye.